In this problem, we've got an arithmetic progression, and they're telling us that the sum of the first terms is equal to the sum of the next 5 terms. Now, I know that's a sentence, words, but you see how that's basically an equation? They're telling us to write this equation where the sum of the first 10 terms is equal to the sum of the next 10 terms. And then we're going to show that the common difference, or D, is equal to 1/3 A. So let's go ahead and try to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the sum of the first 10 terms. Now, the first 10 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all we really know is A is the first one. And if you keep in mind it's arithmetic, so to find the next one I add D, and the next one after that I add D, and then I add another D, and 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 so I can figure out that the first term is A, they tell me that, and that the 10th term is A plus 9D. Now, the easiest formula to use for finding the sum is 1/2 n times A plus last, and I've just figured out that A is the first term and A plus 9D is the last term. So I'm going to go ahead now and just combine like terms and then distribute the 5s, and I find that the sum of the first 10 terms is this. And I'm not worried about the A and the D because what I'm supposed to end up with is an A and a D. So now I'm going to find the sum of the next 5 terms. That's the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. And so you might see a pattern now that it's always going to be one less D than the number term it is. And so the first term is going to be A plus 10D. And then the 15th term, or the 5th term in this case, is going to be A plus 14D. And so now all I got to do is combine like terms again. I get 2A plus 24D, multiply by 2.5, and I get 5A is equal to 60D. Now keep in mind, they told me in the very beginning that the sum of the first 10 terms is supposed to equal the sum of the next 5. So all I got to do now is take this equation and combine like terms and get the D by itself, and when I do, I divide both sides by 15. I get 1/3 A, just like I'm supposed to. And so that's for part 1A. Now in part 2, they want to tell us that the 10th term is 36 more than the 4th term. So let's take a look at that. The 10th term is equal to the 4th term plus 36. Now we've got a formula for the nth term. That's this when we're talking about arithmetic. And so if I want to do the 10th term, I'm going to go ahead and do A plus 10 minus 1, or 9, and then I'm going to multiply times D, and I figured out what D is equal. It's 1/3 A. And so now all I got to do is put my 9 and multiply by 1/3 A. And 1/3 times 9 is going to be 3, so I'm going to have A plus 3A, and I'm going to end up that the 10th term is going to be 4A. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the 4th term. I'm going to go ahead and say A is equal to 4 minus 1 times 1/3 A, and 4 minus 1 is going to be 3, and then 1/3 of that is going to be 1, so I end up with 2A. And so now it says that these two are not equal, that there's 36 more. So to make them equal, I'm going to have to add 36 to the 4th term. And see, now all I got to do is get A by itself, and I find out that A is equal to 18. And now for the very part B, they want us to find the sum to infinity. We're switched to a geometric progression. And they tell us that the sum to infinity is 9 times the sum of the first 4 terms. Once again, they're basically laying out the equation they want us to do. The sum to infinity is equal to 9 times the sum of the first 4 terms. So the first thing is, let's figure out what the sum to infinity is. The formula for that is A over 1 minus R. And they tell us that the first term is 12. So then we have the sum to infinity as being 12 over 1 minus r. And then we go over and we do what we can with the sum of the first 4 terms. The sum of the nth, or I'm sorry, the sum of the first 4 terms is going to be this formula, a times 1 minus r to the n all over 1 minus r. And so now all I got to do is fill in my a, which is 12, and my 4, which is n. And you'll notice I have a bunch of r's, well, that's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and make these equal, and the way I'm going to do that is take the 4th term and multiply it by 9. And so it looks like this. And you'll notice that I've got 2 fractions equal to each other, and the denominators are already equal. Well, if the denominators are already equal, then the numerators must equal each other. And so I can just go ahead and solve that equation. If I divide 12 by 108, I'm going to get 1/9. And so now I know that 1/9 is equal to 1 minus r to the 4th. And then if I subtract and divide by -1, I'm going to find that r to the 4th is equal to 8/9. And if I want to know what r is, well, it's going to be the 4th root of 8 over 9. Now keep in mind, they didn't ask me to find r. What they asked me to find was the 5th term. So in order to find the 5th term, I'm going to use this formula, and I'm going to plug in 12 for the a, and then r is the 4th root of 8/9, and then n minus 1, well, that's going to be the 4th. Well, if I take the 4th root to the 4th power, then that's just going to offset each other, and all I've got to really do is 12 times 8/9. And when I do, I find out that the answer is 10.6666, or 10 2/3, and that's going to be our 5th term. If I want to write it in 3 significant figures, it would be 10.7. Okay, that's all there is for this one. Thanks for watching.